All right, I'm sure many of you guys are wondering why on this channel would we be covering the repair for a third brake light. Obviously, anybody with even remedial skill would be able to diagnose and fix this problem. And the reason is because, among some other things I'm doing with this car that hopefully will be videos more aligned with the channel topic, there is a situation that I ran into when I was just doing this simple, easy repair. Customer states that there's no third brake light. He replaced the lights and still no activity from the third brake light. Obviously, we're going to find some kind of open or short or something in the system, you would think, but check out what I found. It's a topic we covered before where I set up a demonstration to example it, but now we've got an actual real-life situation here. Check out how this might throw off even a pretty seasoned do-it-yourselfer. So I really thought this was going to be pretty easy here, but check it out. We've actually got two bulbs for this brake light system, neither of them on. Let's go ahead and remove, actually we'll remove both of these. And let's just do what obviously any beginner is going to do. We're just going to do a little voltage test here. And we all know what's going to happen here, but check this out. All right, how about that? So, obviously, what are we going to do now with this situation? Well, of course, we're going to check the light bulb. So let's go ahead and check that. All right, let's test light bulb number 1 here. And obviously, brand new light bulbs, so we would expect this. Let's do this one. All right, so our brand new light bulbs, despite what we see on our voltage reading, and we do not have anything lighting up. Now, let me show you another thing here. Let's do this using the test light. So let's go back up on top. All right, let's just do simple test light test here and check this out. Look at that. Test light lights up. And look how bright it's lighting up too, by the way. So obviously we'd say we have some type of intermittent here. Now we have 12 volts. So that's awesome. Now that we have 12 volts, let's go ahead, plug in our light, and we know that our light should work. And it most certainly does not. So we would maybe say there's some kind of bad connection in here, bad connection with the light bulb. But let's show another way that I have shown to do this test, and the answer will become very apparent. This time what I'm going to do is just simply replace my DVLM leads with the Load Pro leads, which are actually my standard lead set by default when I'm not filming diagnostic videos. So let's do this now. All right, hopefully that's showing up in the screen, and check it out. How about that? So we've got easily 4 volts of voltage drop right there, enough that it doesn't light the bulb, but it does light the test light. As you can see there again, the test light lights up nice and bright. So a great example of the use of the Load Pro that otherwise you would not be able to determine very easily that you have voltage drop. It's the quantitative capability of the Load Pro that helps with this situation. So this case study, albeit a little bit unusual, I admit, is actually a real application where the test light would have failed you. And this also busts a couple of the myths that I brought up in my other Load Pro video example, where one of the myths is that you're going to be able to tell the difference with intensity with a test light. Well, as you can see, we could maybe draw a baseline by using battery voltage or something like that, but it's pretty obvious. Anybody would look at that test light and say that light is pretty bright. There's no reason to think that there's any kind of drop. The other myth that this case study busts is the concept that if you do have voltage drop, you're either going to have virtually complete, almost 100% voltage drop, or you won't have any almost at all. And obviously that is completely untrue based on this actual case study. So for more on voltage drop, again, look at my voltage drop video if you have no idea what I'm talking about here. But for those of you guys that do know what I'm talking about, let's see if we can figure out what the cause of this voltage drop is. So let's get back to the car, see if we can figure it out. Well, as we can see here, this is all very much factory here and everything. So what I'm going to do is focus my attention in this area on any of these cars with the lifting rear hatch or the hatchback models. This is a prime suspect area because the opening and closing of the hatch can cause some wear of the wires here. So we'll inspect in there. I actually had an interesting case about 2 years ago for a guy. Whenever he would hit the brake pedal, his rear washer, his rear wiper, would activate. And sure enough, what it was there was some wear in here that two wires were touching, one of them the brake wire, one for the rear wiper. And of course, it sent the voltage to the wiper and activated it whenever it hit the brake pedal. So we'll go ahead and get this apart, pull this through, and see if we can find any evidence of some wiring problem. All right, I've actually seen this a number of times where I didn't have activity with a brake light or a washer. Uh-oh. Well, there we go, right there. Looks like I broke the wire by accident, but you can see, hopefully in the camera right there, that wire's broken. And then check this out. There. Oh, man, this is awesome. This is very typical of what I see. Here's the other end of that wire, I believe, right there. And then check these guys out here. This is very typical. All right, so if we look at these wires, here's one where the insulation is cracked, and it looks like also some of the wires are broken in there. That, of course, would cause a voltage drop. I'm sure this wire was just hanging on by one thread, causing the voltage drop. There was another wire here, too, that I saw that had some pretty good damage. Where is that one? Ah, there it is, right there. So we can see this wire behind my finger as well. Also, you see the insulation cracked and probably some of the wires there broken. So my bet is this is the wire for the power for that light. And we can pretty easily validate that because now the voltage would be totally gone. Let's just validate that real quick. And there's no point doing this because, of course, we'd repair all of those wires anyway, but I'm just curious to see if that was just hanging by a thread there causing our problem. And let's make sure this light's in there, and it is. Oh, that's not it. I'll be darned. So I'm not quite sure what that wire is for, but obviously one of these other wires is causing our voltage drop. Let's see, that is probably not going to even be brake light related, but let's see if there's voltage coming to that wire. All right, and there most certainly is not, so this guy's going to get an extra accessory once I fix that. My guess is that's probably for the rear wiper or something like that, but he's most definitely missing an accessory. So let's fix this bad wiring here, and then we'll come back and just verify our repair. All right, put a little extra insulation over the repair so that shouldn't happen again. And this should be good to go. There's one. And two. All right, repair done. All right, for those of you that have been keeping score, that is on this channel so far in practical application, Load Pro 2, Test Light 0, and in total application, including theoretical, that would be Load Pro 3, Test Light 0. So for the naysayers of the Load Pro, I don't know what to tell you, but the evidence is pretty conclusive that this thing is indeed handy when properly used and when you know what you're doing. Much more so than the Test Light. The other objection with the Load Pro is that you're just paying $70 for a resistor with a button. No, actually, I'm paying $70 for this resistor with a button because you never made one, and you still haven't. So for all the naysayers, not sure what to tell you. I guess I can't change anybody's mind, but based on what we've seen on this channel, if you're a basic electrical kind of guy, Load Pro, I think it's totally worth every penny, and an actual real-life application here shows why it can be useful. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful.